Namaste, I am Soumya and welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. In today's episode of the art, we are discussing about preparing for perimenopause. And we're doing this in a very feminine way. What is the feminine way? Feminine way is when we take time for everything. We go for everything with a sense of ease and peace, no rushing around. The masculine way is completely ignoring the feelings, the emotions, and just going for it, and there is no pleasure in the process, and we are very prone to burn out. So, why are we talking about perimenopause? Well, uh, I have had a couple of emails being sent to me. Previously, I have spoken about fibroids and how I was shrinking it using Ayurveda, and a lot of you had found your meaning and healing through it, which I am very grateful for. I'm grateful that universe used me as a tool to bring awareness about this and help you in your healing journey. Now, because of that, we have become friends, right? Like in a lot of ways we are talking about the things that is uterus and periods and emotions and feelings and Louis Hay and meditations. So I did get a couple of emails from amazing, wonderful, badass women out there, like high achievers doing great things in life, and then by the time they hit their 40, by the time they hit their 39th birthday, a lot of things are going downhill and they're panicking. And a lot of people think it's menopause, and then you talk to your gynecologist and the gynecologist is like, no, menopause, you're not at the age of menopause, you're still bleeding. A lot of us are not aware of perimenopause. So we know about menarche, which is the first time we get our periods, then we know about the regular periods, then we know that we'll eventually have a menopause. Most of us are not aware that, see, menopause happens between 50 to 60 for most women, and for some women as early as like 48 and 49, but it's mostly between 50 to 60. But 8 to 10 years before the menopause happens, we go through a period called perimenopause. So I thought, since I would be celebrating my 40th birthday in like 4 years time, and I'm already having certain liver issues which is related to my body not being able to go through certain digestion of hormones, and my gut health has to be improved and things like that. I was also going through a journey that is my own, where I thought it was perimenopause, and then I went completely reading about it, learning about it, and being in awe that we women, we're not taught about these things. So instead of like hating men and hating the education system, we can just put our heads down and be like, okay, this is what's happening. Let me learn more about it. So this is what this is about. So I am not going through perimenopause, but I'm aware it's around the corner, probably in 4 years' time. I did have liver issues, for which, as always, I went the Ayurvedic route. Please know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a normal woman who enjoys making content and who shares her own feminine journey of whether it's clothes and perfume and beauty and uterus. I have also spoken about my pregnancy and delivery, all of that 10 years ago. So I've always shared with an intention that we can bring up more conversations in the same vein, and that my conversation and my content will help other women out there, because even today there is a lot of taboo around periods. I'm an Indian, so I know this. We do not talk much about it. We celebrate a menarche, and then if a woman is going through extremely difficult periods, a lot of time, when I had that issue when I was growing up, my mom was like, "You're not the only one who's got periods. Just go for work, or go to the school, or just have this Panadol." That's how we like dealt with a lot of things. Anyways, I am majorly digressing, but that's always a given, right, in my videos. Okay, anyways, so we discussed the age for menopause. We also discussed perimenopause can come 8 to 10 years before menopause. Nobody has exact perimenopause symptoms. Symptoms vary for people. For some, it will come as extremely being tired, periods not being regular, the luteal phase getting shorter, having spottings in between randomly. If there is a drastic dip in estrogen, then you end up having rashes. And if that is coupled with liver issues, which is what I had full on rashes everywhere. You can still see it's very dark, and I have a lot of marks, which I am very, very gutted about, not gonna lie. It has affected my sense of vanity extremely badly, because I used to get a lot of compliments on, the skin on my neck and my chest, and I used to enjoy wearing like more off shoulder clothes. So then all of a sudden that thing was taken away. So that was my own inner journey. So what I'm telling you is, for fibroids, we like had certain symptoms that you will have this symptom, you will have extremely difficult, painful periods. You will have to change your pad like every 2 hours or more. It could be coupled with urinary tract infection. Like, we knew there were like 10 to 15 symptoms, and out of that, if you have like 5 of them, you know you're having it. Also, if you go get a scanning with your doctor, you know you have a fibroid or not. The thing with perimenopause is, there's no one like set of symptoms that will come to you, and having one symptom doesn't mean you are in perimenopause. If you go get your hormone levels checked, even then, nothing like 100% guarantees you are in perimenopause. So it's very frustrating. The journey is very, very frustrating for a lot of women. They have night sweats, they have rashes, like I mentioned. They will skip their periods, they will have irregular periods, they will have low progesterone, cause of which their PMS period is very, very, very bad. Like, people who never had a PMDD will all of a sudden have PMS that is extreme PMDD. Again, not everyone has the same symptoms. Halle Berry recently talked about her menopause, and where doctor saw her vulva and told her she's got herpes, but in reality it was because of estrogen deficiency she had that red rash. Think about it. It's not herpes, it's not a sexually transmitted disease. It was actually a symptom of her being in perimenopause and being very close to her menopause. So there was estrogen deficiency, which on her skin, on her private areas, on her genitals, looked like a rash, which got misdiagnosed. So, that makes me so mad and so angry, because I genuinely feel we need more people talking about this. If you want, start reading about perimenopause. Start watching podcasts and not documentaries, like this is first podcast about it. There is Diary of a CEO, where he brought in this menopause doctor. The way she talks about things, sometimes it irritates you about how overlooked we women are even today when it comes to healthcare. But there's also a gratitude that finally people are talking about this. Like, we don't need gynecologists only when we are pregnant. We need gynecologists from the moment we are born till the moment we die, because we have uterus, we have ovaries, we are still going through things even after we are not ovulating. Even after the age of baby making, we are still living, breathing beings. So who tells that we don't need gynecologists? Like, gynecologists are required who are specialists in perimenopause and menopause. I'm yet to find a gynecologist here in Dubai who I am 100% happy with, and who's also specialized in perimenopause and menopause. So if I meet someone like that, I will definitely let you know. Now, I hope you know all about your cycles. Most of us generally have 27 to 28 day cycles. Sometimes it is like 26 to 31 day cycles, right? Okay. What is day 1 of the cycle? The day you are bleeding. The first day of period is day 1 of the cycle. Day 1 to day, I have written down so that I am not talking a lot. Day 1 to day 5, all the 3 sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Yes, we women have testosterone as well. It's way lesser than what men have. However, we still need testosterone. So these three hormones are at their lowest. This is why a lot of our ancient wisdom says do not do yoga during the time you have periods, don't pray during the time you have periods, have a lot of rest during the time you have periods, and even our gut is not at its best. So have lighter foods and warming soups when we are having periods. After the fifth day, our hormones start building up. There is a surge. We start feeling well. We can go on longer walks. So day 11 to 15 is the time period of ovulation. I'm saying 11 to 15 because it doesn't always happen at the 14th day or at the 13th day for most of us, but approximately day 11 to day 15 is when estrogen levels are high, testosterone levels are high, we are ovulating, we have a ton of energy. This is when you can go push yourself at the gym, you can do overtime at work, you are able to take your kids to all kind of extracurricular activities and come home and make them a big meal. Like, there's so much energy. Ovulation is the time when I'm creating most of my content and I'm batching everything, because after that my energy just crashes, and that is like that for most women. And ovulation is the time when you want to mate with your partner, because your body has already made the egg and you're yearning to fertilize the egg and make a baby. Okay, now day 16 to 19 we feel the dip in hormones. I can vouch for this. Day 17 is the day when I am having an actual existential crisis. It's not the PMS, it's not. It's just I had this high levels of estrogen, testosterone, and I was just feeling on top of the world, and something happens, and day 17 I wake up and I just want to cry, I just want to be on bed, I'm having existential crisis, I'm having imposter syndrome. A lot of you will resonate with this. So then day 16 to 19 we feel dip in hormones. Day 19 or day 20 to day 27, 28. So let's think of it as day 19 to day 28. For some people, it could be 29 and 30. In an ideal world, if we're all rested and relaxed, we should be having 28-day cycles, and every cycle will last up to 5 days. We might spot during the 6th day, but it's not actually bleeding. There's no real blood, and it's not a flood. But hormonal changes, eating habits, stress, work, all of that stuff contributes to this not being exactly the same. So anyways, roughly day 19 or 20 to day 28. This is our PMS time, which is also known as our luteal phase. Luteal phase is when estrogen is less, testosterone is less, our body is not wanting to mate. Our body, even in fact, we don't want to be seen by others. These are the times when we feel self-conscious. We look at the mirror and we're like, what happened to my body? You look more puffy. It's because body is making a lot of progesterone. This is the time when we crave for carbs. And this is the time when we should actually eat complex, healthy carbs. And actually build the progesterone so that we can actually have 7 days of luteal phase and then go into our periods. If we are having shorter luteal phase, and say you are in your 40s and you're like, I don't care about my luteal phase because I don't want to make babies, I'm so sorry, ma'am, that is not how it works. Do we say that I do not need my brain anymore because I now have my master's degree? No, that's not how it works. Your body doesn't have like all these different phases and all these sex hormones just for making babies. We need this even if we are not making babies. So we need our progesterone to build up well so that we have healthier periods, so that our mood swings and everything is under control. And to feed our progesterone, we need to have sweet potatoes. I like to make sweet potato soup with celery, with white onions. Then I'll top it with some sesame seeds, because these are all progesterone feeding foods. So PMS, progesterone is going high. It's important to keep the progesterone high. This is why we crave for sweets. Why? Our body wants to make progesterone. We crave for all this chocolate cakes, and we crave for pastas, and I want so much more rice than normal. I want like rice and white potato, and then I want dal, and I just want to like use my fingers to eat it during PMS. And after that, I'm like, I can go to my more like healthier options and I don't crave for that much rice as usual. This is like I need double the amount of rice and I need white potatoes to go with it. A better option for you will always be a sweet potato instead of white potato. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not a doctor, so it's a big disclaimer. Whatever I'm saying is just my personal experience. Kindly take responsibility for your health. Speak with your Ayurvedic practitioner, with your doctor, with your gynecologist. Be aware of your whatever allergies you have, and any kind of lifestyle changes you are making, you should be making with absolute discernment and responsibility. Don't listen to just a random person on internet and completely change your life. And this is a big disclaimer I want to say. So I'm just sharing what works for me. It does not mean it will work for you. However, because of the liver issue I had and the gut issue I had, my periods were all over the place. One month I had like a 30-day cycle, the next month I had a 24-day cycle, then the next month I had a 25-day cycle, and my body wasn't producing as much progesterone. So the doctor asked me to get my estrogen and progesterone tested, and lo and behold, they were pretty low. And then I went to Veda Ayurveda. I love Dr. Sharanya. She is such a boon, but she keeps traveling a lot. So yeah, if you are in Dubai, kindly know that that's a doctor I highly recommend. I am not affiliated with them. I pay for my things full price. So yeah. So one thing in your perimenopause journey that you can start using is Ashoka Arishtam. Ashoka Arishtam is said to be a uterine tonic. So this is helpful whether you just got your periods. This is helpful that you're going through fibroids. This is helpful. I'm not sure about it. It's help in PCOS. I'm not sure. So if you talk to an Ayurvedic doctor and check about are you an eligible candidate for Ashoka Arishtam and these other symptoms you have, it is highly recommended for perimenopause and menopause symptoms. So I love Ashoka Arishtam. In case you can see, I have it after my food. I don't have it every day. I have it especially during my progesterone building time and during my periods, and then I take a break from it and I come back. But I think you can have it almost every day, but you have to check with your doctor. Always check with your doctor. Do not buy anything from Amazon because there's a lot of dupes. Okay, so that is Ashoka Arishtam. The next thing is cinnamon tea. After the age of 35, I didn't know this, maybe you all knew it, and I am very late. After the age of 35, a lot of us, especially if we come from a family where people had, and our parents or grandparents had diabetes, even if we are having a healthy BMI, a lot of us will show insulin resistance and a lot of us will enter the initial steps of pre-diabetes. Did you know that? You might have, I didn't. So get your blood sugar levels checked. If you have crossed the age of 35, get your hormone levels checked, get your blood sugar levels checked. Go to a different gynecologist and find someone that is specializing in perimenopause and menopause, and someone who is nutritionally aware. Not every gynecologist is nutritionally aware. Absolutely respect doctors, yes, but the system in which they are put and the kind of education they are given, they are there to prescribe medicines to you. And in extreme cases, they are like, oh, you have so and so, oh, you have this issue, let's remove your gallbladder, you have this issue, let's remove your uterus. Like, maybe there is alternative ways rather than just removing parts of my body. Thank you very much. Okay, next. So I mentioned about blood test, estrogen, progesterone checking, liver function test in case your doctor tells you about it. Another thing is thyroids. Get your thyroid levels checked every 6 months if you have crossed the age of 35, so you are on top of it. A lot of us are so busy. 35 is this age, at least for me. Parents are pretty old. You worry about them. You want to take care of them. Children are growing up. And if you have any, like the children have any kind of diagnosis like my little one had, it's an added amount of stress. So there's so much on my plate and there's so much I'm carrying on my back that I am not my priority. So if I have certain things like an acne, that is going excess facial hair growth and lots of hair fall, and then I missed a period and I skipped my like luteal phase is shrinking, I wouldn't notice because my plate is so full. So that's why I'm telling you, this is a guide which is going to empower you to go and get things done. thyroid, liver function test, ensuring your progesterone estrogen levels are right, what kind of situation, finding a gynecologist you are comfortable with whom you can have like a long sustained period of relationship, because it's not just going to random people, just having that support system, you're building that support system. So then cinnamon tea, I prepare cinnamon tea first thing in the morning and I sip it throughout the day, because cinnamon tea, cinnamon powder on top of your, like oatmeal, all of this helps to regulate the blood sugar levels. Now, talking about estrogen helps in producing collagen in our body and our skin. So when that drops, you can see the difference on your skin, body skin, your hair, your facial skin, everything. So now, even if you are someone who never bothered about eating properly, now is a time for you to start thinking about introducing good healthy fats into your diet. Have vitamin C, because vitamin C helps to build collagen. Topical use of vitamin C, I tried. I was excited to try, and like that would be a great routine for me. No, apparently I am allergic to vitamin C. So that's a bummer. See if you are allergic to vitamin C topically. And in case you are, then start eating more vitamin C rich foods. I have to be very honest, I'm not consistent with this, and this is something I have to work on, and we all have to work on. Retinol, tretinoin, these are things that will help you when the estrogen is decreasing. Eventually, see what is happening in perimenopause, your ovaries have not given up fully, but their ovaries are not in its perfect efficiency. So it's kind of giving up, and now the other parts of the body has to start producing, estrogen, and that means we'll put on some weight around our midriff, and we won't look as beautiful and like skinny like we once used to, and that's a lot for us to go through. But know that that is a phase of our life. So when you can already know these things are going to happen, and you can start a routine right away and get your ducks in a row, I think that's how I'm supposed to say it. Eventually, when this happens, because if you live far enough, this is something you cannot avoid. You already have systems in place. You're eating right, your skincare is right, you have your retinol and tretinoin that is helping you in your skin to produce more collagen. So there's not that much of like wrinkles and dry skin. And now you're eating high protein foods, very, very important. Muscle building foods are very important, because when the estrogen drops, our ovaries are not producing as much estrogen as before. We have loss of muscle, muscle mass decreases, bone density issues come up. And do you know, like if you go to Dubai airport, a lot of late 50s, our Indian parents who are in our late 50s and like early 60s, most of them, they prefer wheelchair. They can't walk. But if you look at the Western world, even so many women who are in their 70s, we see like videos of them lifting weights. And that is the difference. They are highly aware, they're educated about this process, and that knowledge has empowered them to change their routine. And over the course of time, when our parents and the Western parents are together, our parents would prefer being on a wheelchair, cannot go for long walks, and the Western parents, they're lifting heavy weights and they have more muscle mass and better bone density, and they're more alert and more zesty and juicy. So the choice is yours. If you start eating high protein foods, aim to have a minimum of 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. That would be great. Start lifting weights. I haven't done this. I want to find a good place and start doing that eventually. As I mentioned, perimenopause has not yet reached me, but I know if I live for 4 more years, that is something that will happen. So weightlifting, eating high protein foods, minimum 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. This will ensure that our muscle mass, bone density can be maintained for longer periods of time. That doesn't mean we will not lose. It just means we can maintain what we have for longer periods of time. So eggs, salmon, tuna, nuts, vegetables, fruits, broccoli, cauliflower, great. And if you make broccoli and cauliflower, what I do is I add besan crumbs on top of it and toss it. So besan adds extra protein, and then obviously broccoli and cauliflower, they are good for us, good for our digestion, good for estrogen and progesterone production. So that is great. Gut, liver, brain has to be in optimal condition for your thyroid to function. I didn't know this. Thank God for reading and learning and delving deep into it. So it is all together. If your liver is not able to be in its best condition, your gut is not in its best condition, then even if your brain has good health, your thyroid function will come iffy. So that you have to approach this holistically. Now, gut health. If your feces happens to be very dry, you're not regular with it, then you have to start with adding fiber. In our town, in our villages, a lot of women are given isabgul. Men also have isabgul because sometimes our food is not high in fiber. We do not eat well. So yeah, isabgul adds as fiber, which is psyllium husk. And also, my favorite is this one, Trifaladi, Trifala Churnam. We call it Trifaladi. I prefer buying this now from Veda Ayurveda in Dubai. They make their own, they compound this on their own. It ensures that it has high efficiency. So anytime tummy is not doing well, I have not been eating well. Even if, there's another thing, even when we do a lot of the things right, when the ovaries are not in their best mood, things can go upside down. So that is why I'm talking about reinforcements like this. So Trifala has been great. There is Brahat Trifala and then there is Trifala. Brahat Trifala is for like more cleansing and I think also fat reduction. I would always stick to Trifala, and Brahat Trifala is something I might think about when I cross my 40s. So yeah. So this is Trifala. It is better to buy Trifala directly from your Ayurvedic shop where they have compounded it by themselves. And in case you are looking for something in Dubai, Veda Ayurveda, as I mentioned, not sponsored. I just really, really like them. And then for liver, I am also, when I had the liver issue, I had Guluchyadi Kashayam. I'm not saying you should go and buy this. I'm just saying if you're going to an Ayurvedic practitioner, this is something they might give you for your liver. And I also had Avipatti Churnam. Now, based on what your particular condition is, your the amount of Avipatti you have, when you have it, the amount of Guluchadi you have, do you have it twice a day, do you have it once a day, it all differs. But Guluchadi is something you have before food. Okay, so so we talked about gut, we talked about the liver, then we have to talk about estrogen. Again, when our body doesn't produce enough estrogen, when the ovaries are not in their best mood, now the problem is we need to get estrogen from other things. So organic soy is a good source of estrogen. Do not have soy every day, especially if you are someone who went through fibroids, who's got estrogen dominance as their family like history. Then don't have soy every day, but once a week, something that is organic soy. Look at tofu, tempeh. Okay, because the milk sometimes has a ton of sugar in it. If you can find that is not milk, soy milk that is organic and doesn't have any sugar, great. If you know any brand, let me know here. As of now, I'm just looking at tofu and tempeh. Shatavari. Shatavari is a phytoestrogen. This is why in my fibroid video, a lot of people were saying, if you have uterus issues, just have Shatavari. And I'm like, no, I'm like screaming from the rooftops, do not have Shatavari if you have estrogen dominance, because Shatavari is a phytoestrogen. It increases estrogen in your body. It like acts like estrogen. It binds to the estrogen receptors and like acts like estrogen, mimics estrogen. So do not have Shatavari if you have estrogen dominance. However, if you are having like skin issues and rashes and night sweats and not being able to sleep and waking up every 2 hours to go to the washroom, all of that shows estrogen is less, and the doctor says your estrogen is less, then the Ayurvedic doctor might recommend Shatavari to you, but you do not use Shatavari every single day. You might have it for like 2-3 days and then take a break and see how your symptoms just go away. So that, then garlic. If you have been to Indian villages, when women are going through menopause, and they have this night sweats and things. The older women, they make garlic and then what, yeah, like garlic masala. It's garlic bharta, like lehsuni bharta, that kind of a thing. So a lot of garlic is added to the curries, and you can look at lehsuni bharta, garlic bharta kind of recipes, like coconut oil, mustard seeds, then you put urad dal for protein, then you put a lot more garlic. Full cloves will be there, so there will be a full entire garlic that you are eating, because garlic is a phytoestrogen. And then you add some, you know, onions to it. If you want, you can add some green peas or stuff. Mostly people do not. And if you add green peas, you get extra protein, so that is great. So you get protein from the urad dal, you get protein from the green peas. Then you add turmeric and black pepper and fenugreek. It is a great combination to all your curries. This is something I have started doing to most my curries. I add turmeric and black pepper and fenugreek. Apparently, for you to get the full benefits of turmeric, it should have black pepper and fenugreek to support it. There is more of a scientific reasoning to it, but this is how I understand it. So that is great. Then flax seeds again acts as phytoestrogen, but I also read that flax seeds can go to the body and see, does it need to act like a phytoestrogen, or does it need to act like an agent that cleanses excess estrogen from your body? I'm not sure if it's true. However, when my hormones are building up, in fact from the time I'm having my periods until this PMS stuff happens, I add ground flax seeds. I buy flax seeds, I put them in the grinder and grind it by myself, and have a week's worth of flax seeds to go. And the ground flax seeds I add to my oatmeal, maybe to my smoothies, and maybe top it on my soups. I'm not really good at this. I'm not consistently keeping up with this, but I'm trying my level best to create a routine and support myself. And I'm just sharing with you what's working for me. So flax seeds. Then estrogen likes good fats like avocados and sardines, cashews, walnuts, and almonds. And if you want to go the Ayurvedic route, you wash these cashews and almonds. Almonds, I always soak the almonds overnight. Next day, peel off the skin. If I cannot soak it overnight, which I forget a lot, whenever I want almonds, I just throw the almonds into like boiling water, and within few seconds, take them out with a spoon, a ladle, something, and then peel off the skin. We do not eat the skin of the almonds because of a lot of reasons, which I'm not even aware of. I remember my mom explaining it to me. I just know that it helps when the skin is not there on the almonds, and the same thing happens. It also, if you know about the esoteric wisdom of foods, when you soak nuts, the etheric body of the nuts bloom. If you are into that kind of thing, or else you can say that I'm doing woo-woo, it's great. I'm just being honest. I believe in all of these wonderful things. So walnuts, almonds, cashews, sardines, avocados, great for building up that estrogen. Estrogen likes good fats. We get scared of fats, thinking all fats are bad. No, there are good fats and there are bad fats. Cholesterol, we all need cholesterol for healthy functioning of our body and production of our hormones. But we get confused between good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. So to reduce the bad cholesterol, we need to drink green tea. To increase the good cholesterol, eat like good fats. And then obviously do your 10,000 steps a day, start a lifting routine. Another thing, take away from your plate a lot of things that you can't handle. Like we all have 24 hours a day, and we only have this much of energy. The energy we had back in our 20s, we definitely do not have late in our 30s. And as we go to the 40s, again, energy levels will dip. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the different seasons of our life and the cycles of our body. So ask for help, find help. Tell your children to help you with things, tell your partner to help you with things, put the boundaries, say no where it is required, see what you can do with your job. If you're in a high stress job, what can you do about it? Can you shift? Can you do something different? Can you do something more simpler? These are all things you can look into. Progesterone needs sweet potato, it needs white potato, sesame seeds, magnesium supplements, because if you have enough magnesium in your body, it is easy for your body to relax and make more progesterone. Next thing, very, very important, Oxytocin and cortisol. If your cortisol levels are high, you are in fight or flight, high levels of stress. Your body feels that a lion is running behind you and you have to run really, really fast. In that moment, your body is not ready to rest, to digest, to enjoy life. It's not open to pleasures. It is definitely not going to produce any levels of oxytocin in your body. High levels of cortisol is not good for you. So limit the amount of caffeine you have. Second thing, if you are in high stress jobs and you are experiencing burnouts, just reconsider your career. How can you simplify things? See, I am not here to tell anyone how they are supposed to live, because God, my life is just reduce stress, reduce if you're having really toxic and negative people around you, just re-evaluate. Yeah, that's what I would say. If you can increase your oxytocin levels, swimming, taking warm baths, cuddling your little ones, cuddling with your pet, actually being able to have, like fun, crazy, happy, laugh out loud conversations with your girl gang. All of this will like increase your oxytocin so much the cortisol levels just becomes low and you start feeling great. So start observing who puts you in a fight or flight, high stress situation. Like I know relatives who put me in that situations. If you're all married, a lot of things comes with marriage. Like let's not pretend that it's all happy go lucky. It's like it's not. And we as women, we make so many sacrifices, and I know I have been insulted so badly in so many scenarios, and I have kept quiet. And now I have reached a stage where I'm like, I will not go there. I'm not going to talk to those people, and I'm definitely not subjecting my little one to those people for them to mistreat me and my child. And this level of wisdom and this level of standing up for oneself only comes with age. So yeah, anything that puts you in high cortisol levels, in fight or flight, anything that uh, like makes you want to like shrink and hide, extended periods of that is not good for your body. Now, sleep, I don't want to consistently talk about it, but yes, sleep is a big part of managing your hormones and stabilizing your hormones. And it is also a big part of ensuring your liver, your brain, your gut, your thyroid, everything gets time to like rest and recuperate and balance things out. As I mentioned, healthy eating, no sugar, no smoking, no alcohol, it's all a given. I still have sugar. I am not gonna lie. I have a cheeky cookie every now and then. And I recently had the chocolate from Firas Sweets, which is a dupe for the fixed chocolate. And sometimes I might add like a teaspoon of brown sugar to my really strong coffee. I have only 1 cup of coffee a day. And when I'm PMSing, when I'm in my luteal phase, I avoid coffee as much as I possibly can. I will have tea with lots of milk in it, and I will have like a green tea. Okay, so that's that. Breath work, yoga, mindset. Start doing it. Do your 5 minutes of breath work, do your 10 minutes of yoga. I highly suggest you doing. I mean, when I had estrogen dominance and I was struggling with the fibroids, a lot of wonderful women commented on my channel saying, you need to start doing yoga. And I was like, I don't know, you have to go to a yoga studio. But I found yoga with Adriene. I do the beginner one once a week. Then I found another yoga, which was trauma healing hip opening yoga. And my God, I didn't believe it would do something like that for me, because I do breath work, I do EFT, I do journaling, I pray every single day, I chant every day. Like we have Sandhya Vandanam and everything. So that's a part of my life. So I just thought like, I'm very like, I don't think I'm storing anything in my body. My goodness, that hip release, I wasn't ready for it. After the hip release, what happened was I didn't cry during the hip release, like something came up, bubbling up. And after that, my husband said something and I got absolutely triggered and I just might have lost my patience on him. And then I realized, oh my goodness, this much temper, this much of release. So just be careful. Either you might feel nothing, or you might cry during it, or then there is a possibility that you might just completely lose your temper at this person. Of course, I apologized and told him what happened, and he was like, yeah, chill, no, whatever. And yeah, so highly recommend. Now, liver and gallbladder health. Dandelion Root. I buy this from Tealand. This is AED 31 and excellent. The taste of this must be off-putting. How can I explain the taste? Okay, think of you being in India. It's raining heavily, especially in Kerala. After the rain is over, you are licking the wet tree trunk. Yeah, you're licking the wet tree trunk after the rain. So a combination of petrichor and wet tree trunk, and that is how I experience this. Dandelion roots, especially the roots, not just the leaf. It's good for liver and gallbladder health. So this is something you can start early on. I don't have it every single day. I have it like twice or thrice a week. And this might make you want to urinate if you're having it late in the evening. So throw it in somewhere during the lunch break. That will be great. Okay, again, this works for me doesn't mean it works for you. So kindly check with your doctor, your healthcare practitioner, your Ayurvedic practitioner, your naturopathy person. I do not take any responsibility for the side effects you might have in case you use this. I want to keep on using the disclaimer because we're all different people. I'm just sharing what works for me. If you're buying it, Tealand is great. I buy it from the Tealand store in Dubai Festival Center. Acne, oh my god, I had like the worst kind of breakout, and I never had that kind of breakout even when I was a teenager. So that's when I heard that if you have liver issue, gallbladder issue, then that causes hormonal issues, and then something about androgens. So to clear off the excess androgens and to keep your skin clean, spearmint tea. I bought this again from Tealand. This was 26 dirhams. I highly recommend loose leaf tea to just buying the tea bags. It's more cost effective, lasts you for so much more long, and I think the quality is way better too. Okay, don't have this if you have PCOS. And I don't know if you are supposed to, again, don't have it without your doctor telling you. I spoke with someone I know and told that I am having these symptoms, and they said to just check with Vitex. I tried Vitex. I have Vitex only when I want my body to make progesterone. So that is luteal phase. I am not going to have this every luteal phase. Certain days I wake up and I feel heavy and I feel sad and I know I'm PMSing and I'm having really dark thoughts, like really dark thoughts, like why am I even alive? I don't deserve to live. When I have those kind of thoughts, I just go brush my teeth, I have this along with my breakfast, and within like a few hours I feel like myself, and I'm so grateful for being alive, and I'm thinking how can I contribute to the world. So day and night difference, absolute believer. People take Vitex to bring back periods. I never had a problem of losing periods, and I do not have PCOS, so I purely take this only for this to produce progesterone in my body. So I will have a 7 days luteal phase, and that luteal phase is manageable. Now you need progesterone. If you have high levels of progesterone, it will help your body to make oxytocin, so you have this beautiful childlike wonder about life, you're just calm. To make more oxytocin, you can take hot baths. If you can't take hot baths, what I do is I dip my feet in a bucket of warm water where I have added some Epsom salt and Himalayan pink salt, and I just listen to some old music that I like from Hindi movie called Tal, like those kind of songs. It reminds me of when I was young and when I was like so positive, and it's great. It produces oxytocin in your body, and your body needs oxytocin. Keep this in mind. We women need more oxytocin than men. I'm not saying men do not require oxytocin. We just require way more oxytocin than men. So I spoke about breathwork, yoga, mindset. Another thing, the mindset should be I want to be strong. I want to be zesty and juicy and healthy. It's not that I want to be skinny. If you have seen the way the bodies of Sushmita Sen has changed, Aishwarya Rai has changed, and so many other women, it is inevitable. Now, how much of our body changes depends on our own like ancestry, our genetics, all of that. But the thing is, we will change. Things will change. So instead of thinking that I want to fit into my extra small clothes like before, I am chill with wearing this. This top of mine is XL. Does that make me a less worthy woman? No, it doesn't. It just means my body at this point accepts clothes that are extra large in size, and that's okay. However, continue your 10,000 steps. I don't even do 10,000 steps. I do like 6,000 steps. Sometimes I fall off the wagon and I feel like my body doesn't produce enough endorphins. I'm not feeling happy. Then again, I do this thing where I wake up early and I do my 6,000 steps, or like I do 2,000 steps, and then after like few hours, I'll just do 2,000 steps. And before I'm falling asleep, I'll do a 3,000 steps. And then I have completed more than 6,000 steps in a day. I sleep better. I have better mood. Endorphins are pumping and I feel great. And also body looks better, clothes fit better. um, if you are going through extreme stress, jet lag, etc., that is preventing you from falling asleep, having long periods of like proper rest, like 2 hours of deep sleep, 2 hours of REM, then check about melatonin. Do not make it a habit. As I mentioned, it's only during like say you are going through perimenopause and you're traveling because your sibling is getting married, and then after that, like there's so much that happens into Indian weddings and stuff. Like you didn't sleep properly, you didn't like eat properly. It's affecting you. When you come back, you're just like, oh my god, it's been more than like 10 days and I haven't really slept well, and there is so much sleep deprivation, sleep debt, and you're still struggling to fall asleep. Look into melatonin. Don't directly go to melatonin if you haven't done the other things, like as I mentioned, like the close to 10,000 steps a day, the oxytocin, the cortisol thing, the eating properly for your estrogen and progesterone, ensuring your liver, gallbladder, thyroid, everything is working really well, taking care of your gut health. If you haven't done any of those things and you're just like, okay, melatonin, let me go have it, like, that's not the right way to go. Let's have like a holistic approach to this. Just like there are many seasons that we experience out there in the nature. The nature has like 4 seasons, and within those seasons, we experience different cycles. Same is the case of our feminine existence. So, the way I am going about this is, see, I'll be honest, when those rashes came, and when I started seeing gray hair, and when I started feeling that I did not have as much energy as I once used to have, I freaked out. I looked at the mirror and I went like, when did the time go? And so much grief came rushing to me. The grief of the dreams I let die. I wanted to achieve so much more in my life. I wanted to actually have like a high flying career and prove so much to myself and to a lot of people around me. There was a lot of bullying in my childhood, and it was an interesting childhood, to like say the least. Most of us have that, right? I'm sure my parents did their best in things, but money was always a big thing. So when I saw that while I was struggling every day and getting so much done, and I sacrificed so much for everyone. When you build a family, there is a lot of sacrifice that happens from both the sides. And then there are people that sometimes act like low vibe, toxic. So much happens, right? And I have been married for more than 16 years, I think. Yeah. And I just looked at the mirror and I was like, oh my God, what happened, Soumya? What happened? And that will happen to a lot of people, a lot of women. We'll go through burnout, and one day we look at ourselves on the mirror and we just see a woman who's so tired, who's like, who lost herself in the process of building something that others told her is what she should be building and what she should be doing and what should make her happy and content. Have grace. If you can afford, go for therapy. I cannot, so I'm not going for therapy, but I am going to certain meditation centers and going for meditations and meeting like-minded people, meeting like-minded women who are on the same path of healing and integrating their experiences, and knowing that, okay, the last 30 plus years of my life look like that, but these are the lessons I learned, and the next, if I get the chance to live for the next 10 or 20 years or 30 years, the next how many ever years of my life that I'm alive doesn't have to look like that. Like, I can actively make changes. I can actively be there for myself, take care of myself, integrate more compassion and self-care and discipline and workout and all of that into my life. So what I have is an absolute, my mindset is, and if any of you care, you can also use this as your mindset, like absolute reverence for the different seasons of the nature. I have absolute reverence for the different seasons of my life. I have absolute reverence and gratitude for the different cycles of my body. I fully honor and respect my feminine existence, and I understand that very soon I would be transitioning into the autumn season of my life, and this stage will require me to show up in a different energy. So I pray to the universe and to God to guide me towards my highest good and deepest well being and help me embrace this new stage of my life with full surrender, absolute gratitude, and grace. So that is my attitude. And if in this process, if someone is making fun of you for, your waistline expanding, your hips expanding, your hair graying, in India, there's this concept of, oh, you've become an auntie now. And they use that in the worst way possible. There is a lot of age shaming. So just know that these kind of people, these kind of topics, they exist all around. And how can you stay grounded in this fully depends on the support system you have created for yourself. So nourish yourself from the inside out. Seek out the right help, whether it's therapy, whether it's gynecologist, whether it's naturopathy, whether it's Ayurveda. Read and learn as much as you possibly can. You can start your feminine journey even if you are just 90 years old. There was a time I felt so bad that, oh my goodness, today's 19-year-olds know so much more than my 30 plus year old self. And now I feel like, so what? That's fine. I can still start my journey. You know what I'm saying? So, I've spoken about Gulachiyadi. I spoke about Trifala. Another big change I have made is this is my water bottle. I bought this from IKEA. It was 20 dirhams or 19 dirhams. And no more plastic water bottles for me, because plastic, when you like consume your things in plastic containers for a long period of time, it acts as endocrine disruptors. So we don't need that. So if you can, buy a stainless steel bottle, fill it up twice or thrice, and ensure you are having your required amount of water every day. And I add a pinch of Himalayan pink salt into this. Some people make fun of it. Some people say yes, you need that to act as electrolytes to ensure that you're properly getting hydrated. So look into it. The next thing I'm looking into is castor oil, and which is a good option. And how can I use that for my rashes? I did use castor oil for rashes, and I used the Bell's one, but I'm not sure if it is hexane free. So that is interesting. This has been a very long video. I genuinely hope you found value in it, and let me know what are you doing about your perimenopause, your menopause. Thank you. Bye bye.